What is good, guys? Fighting Game Select is here. We are back again to talk about some Street Fighter 6. We got PunkDaGod to talk about Cammy.
I'm doing good, Kizzie. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing fantastic. Everybody always, every time people watch you play, bro, it's so funny to me because they be like, "Yo, how can he do it? What is he doing?" You play Jamie and you want to tournament with Jamie, and all the Jamie players was like the fire alarm came out. You know what I mean? The earth, we hiding under the table. We like, yo, how did he do it? You know what I mean? So, and it's funny because every time somebody asks you, you say 3 words. Reaction. And then that's it, right? Reactions.
Yes.
So
a lot of times it just comes down to that.
And the way you say it is like, man, it's unfortunate you don't have the reactions. But we're gonna talk about some Cammy, bro. Obviously you've been showing a lot of fantastic stuff with Cammy. My first question to you, bro, is like, what is Cammy's biggest strength?
Cammy's biggest strengths, I think, is the fact, of course, that she has a very good jump in and has a dive kick to change her jump in. So it's a bit hard to anti-her at times, especially in this game now. I feel like dive kicks, they made it so that like they have kind of like a disjointed hitbox now, which is very weird for dive kicks to have in a fighting game, whereas like it hits you kind of before the dive kick actually show it should be hitting. So like the hitbox is like a lot lower than her foot actually is. So it makes it a lot harder in this game specifically to actually anti-air dive kicks when Cammy uses them. So, of course, that is being probably like her greatest strength. And then I think, of course, she has very good buttons in this game. So she is very able to play neutral with pretty much any character in the game. So that's a very good thing that she has. And I think that...
What's your favorite button?
My favorite button with Cammy would probably be stand heavy kick. I love her stand heavy kick. Takes a lot of drive gauge on block, and on punish counter it takes even more and just pushes you all the way to the corner. I just wish they gave her some type of combo in it, because every other character that has a punish counter button like that, they all get a combo, whether it's in the corner or mid screen. They all get a combo after it. But Cammy's the only one. She just sends you full screen. Like even in the corner, she just kicked you and knocked you down.
Take that.
But she gets no combo. So I would like to see maybe just like a drill follow up or a DP. Like I don't even want anything crazy. Just something, just simple would be very cool. Honestly, just give her something new to do in the next patch. Even if they want to nerf her, I'd feel like just giving her a punish counter combo and heavy kick would be something cool in my opinion. So I think that, but I also would say that her level 3 is probably the best in the game. So I think that is extremely big strength for her. It goes so far. Pretty much it's literally just a missile pretty much that goes so far, and it's very fast on startup, and it goes through fireballs, so you can always react to fireballs pretty much full screen with her level 3. And not even just fireballs, just you can react to like some buttons with her level 3 from far. If someone try to press like a really good poke but it has a lot of recovery, you could be buffering level 3, and you can honestly just whiff punish with it when you see them doing stuff like that. So I feel like that gives her level 3 a very good advantage over a lot of the other ones in the game. And last I would say is her standing jab. I think she has probably the second best stand jab in the game outside of Chun-Li, and she has a very good confirm with crouch and medium punch on counter hit. And I think that is like a very big part of Cammy's game plan in my opinion, and just ways you're going to get or be able to play neutral with everyone a lot more confidently. So I feel like those things are probably her biggest strengths.
Those are a lot of really good, solid strengths, man. But we got to talk about the lows of Cammy's, man. What is her weakness right now?
Probably the fact that one, she doesn't have a great drive rush, which is like that's one of the best mechanics in the game. So having,
think about it, she don't.
And not having a good drive rush, I feel like is a big detriment for any character in the game, whether they're good or not. Cammy, of course not a bad character, but she still doesn't have a good drive rush, so you still want a good drive rush no matter how good or bad your character is. So I think that is a big weakness for her. Of course, she has some bad matchups like Blanca that I feel like is very hard to beat with her, which would be probably a weakness. Weird, like I don't know if a character is like a weakness or just happens to be a bad matchup, but I feel like it's actually like a weakness for her.
It is. It sounds like a weakness, bro.
Yeah, Blanca is just a nightmare.
You can't be good character losing to Blanca. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's how it is in Street Fighter, but in this game, Blanca's actually end up being a good character for once in the Street Fighter game.
You know, there's a difference between like good, but Blanca's like messed up, like
yeah, it's
dirty,
one of
like,
the few characters that got real mix-ups in the game. When the game where like no character really has actual mix-ups, he does have them.
How do you feel about like how the dive kicks are in like this game? Because you know they do have like a specific disjointed hitbox, but like I feel like you could kind of randomly anti-air the dive kicks.
Yeah, I would say that is probably a bit of a weakness. It's weird because it's like a weakness and a strength, right? Like her dive kick is
double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's like it's good because it's harder to anti-air and it could hit you trying to attempt your anti-air. But the weakness of it is that if you just happen to be pressing a button in neutral and I just randomly dive kick, you have a great chance to just smack me out the air because the hurt box is so huge on the hitbox that you can just hit it with a regular button by accident. And then you might see it and you can get a whole conversion that can lead into you winning the round, getting you to the corner, or you know just trying to get to your win condition. It could just happen by accident because you just hit a button when I did dive kick and now I just got anti-air because the hurt box is very big in this game. And I would say probably like honestly Cammy's not a character that has a lot of weaknesses. I feel like she's just a perfectly made character honestly in this game. Like she's not like overly tuned, but she's pretty good at the same time. So she doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses, I would say. I would say her weaknesses are really just some characters in the game, just some matchups mostly. And it's not really a lot of problems that she had per se.
You know, let's talk about some matchups. So, like, what are the two best matchups that you could think of for Cammy right now? Like, if you had to be like, if I play this matchup, I don't care if it's the best player, quote unquote, that people say is the best player in the world, I'm smoking this matchup. What are those two matchups for you? For
Ryu for sure.
Damn, like that?
Yeah, Ryu Cammy is it's really good for her.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean he can't really shoot fireballs in the matchup. I did lose to Paladin in the CPT, but that didn't really change the matchup at all. I know somebody probably going to try to say that or something in the comment, but you can lose people lose good matchups sometimes. It happens, you know, to everyone. Yeah, it's not really.
It's okay to be. We're human.
Yeah,
it's
not a foreign concept to fighting games. Everyone loses good matchups sometimes, and I would say I think Rashid. I feel like Rashid is a very good matchup for Cammy.
That makes sense. Just because of Rashid's DP is not being as strong as it was in like Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, and I just feel like her stand jab gives him a lot of trouble in this game because Rashid doesn't have the best buttons in neutral, and that's not really what his game plan is focused around. But her stand jab kind of just shuts his game plan down a lot of the time. So I feel like that button just alone makes the matchup very, very rough for Rashid.
Because I feel like Rashid in this game, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he's more, in 5 he was more like normal based, but now he's more special based, right?
Yeah, I think so. He's like specials and drive rush, like mixing those up and just making your opponent just not know what you're going to actually do in neutral. Now is like I feel like the way to play Rashid is just making people guess in neutral and just making them not know what your next thing is you're going to do
outside of level 2, because we know when you get 2 bars, we know what's coming. We know what's coming. Yeah, so those are really good. I think having Rashid as one of your best matchups is really good, just mainly because I feel like he's been like on the up and up, and people have having like crazy discussions whether he'd be the best character in the game or not. And I feel like once people kind of realize his offense is like that like strong, people love offense. So I feel like people are gonna just try to pick him up and try to like run that offense. You know what I mean? And like having a character that can be able to shut that down, and the player have to be very good to just not just run offense against you, especially being a Cammy enthusiast, I would say. It's great, like the fact that you can't do this. Like, you have to be better than me to like try to like overcome like this matchup that is not in your favor. So I think that character is good. Ryu's obviously, I feel like he's getting popular. People has been talking about him. Some people has been saying, and I don't agree with it, but they've been saying like, Ryu's the new Ken. I don't know about where that came from because
it's definitely not.
Run Tatsu is still one of the best one of the best things I've ever seen on a character. So and Ryu is not running.
He don't run at all. That fella don't know what that is.
Yeah, my man, his feet hurt, bro. Like, notice kid put some shoes on, bro, so it's rough, Now, with that being said, what are two worst matchups of Cammy? And we already know Blanca is one of them, but can we talk about a little bit why you feel like Blanca is so bad?
I feel like Blanca is bad, one, because he just stops her air approach with his standing heavy kick. It just stops it completely, and if he's crouch charging, then he just does up ball, and there's really no approach that you can take in the air against Blanca with Cammy, which is right there. He already taken away one of her strongest things, and then he also takes away her playing neutral with him because his crouch and medium punch just literally just shuts the character down. Even if you hit it at a bad timing and I happen to jump and do dive kick, it's going to hit my dive kick out the sky too. So those just makes it very hard to approach Blanca, especially since you can't really whiff punish the crouch and medium punch. So Blanca is just able to kind of just play everywhere on the screen when there's really like nowhere that Cammy feels comfortable against Blanca, I feel like, on the screen at all. And on top of that, for some reason you can't really check his drive rush stand heavy kick with Cammy. When you try, like, the hurt box of the heavy kick becomes so weird when you're trying to check it with a regular button like how Cammy has, that it just like bypasses it pretty much. Like, I don't really know exactly what happens to his hurt box, but it definitely just becomes really weird and just beats the jab out every time.
What I'm thinking is happening is like, because the hitbox is already like really, really good, and his hitbox is not really like extended forward. After the dash, I think the backflip is pushing his hitbox back, and it's like all hitbox, right? And I think that's probably what's happening. And like, that button is already good, and it does like 5 things, right? It anti-airs, it's pressure, it hits you, it anti-airs you, it frame traps you. It just does all. It's literally the Fisher Price, right? And I think that's kind of what's happening there. And obviously, hurt boxes are really big in this game, and I think that's what's probably happening. Yeah. That's really unfortunate that is the case, because that button literally does everything, and like, it takes away so many strength for Cammy.
Yeah, it does actually. That button alone, it does a lot against Cammy in general, which is funny.
Yeah, so what's another bad matchup that you can think of right now?
If I had to guess, I would say another one I think is pretty bad is DJ. I think
I can see that.
DJ is not like super bad. I feel like I've gotten better with the matchup over time, but I do feel like it's still a bit in favor of DJ. Mainly because, he's a character that has a down-up charge move, so he doesn't really have to move around the screen much against Cammy. He could just kind of sit down and charge and then fake fireballs and then shoot the medium fireball, and it becomes very hard to know which ones he's doing. So you start jumping and then he's already crouching, so his anti-air is going to hit you every time. It's no real mix-up for the jump, dive kick, or anything against DJ when they're crouching, so it gives him the advantage in like that part there. And then I feel like his buttons is very weird. Like, they're very hard to whiff punish. I would say DJ has some very hard to whiff punish buttons. So
yeah, he definitely a Fisher Price character.
Yeah, so when you're actually playing neutral with him with Cammy, a lot of times he can whiff a lot of buttons and she can't really get a whiff punish. And then if you try to whiff punish and the DJ knows, they just whiff punish you back instantly, so
yeah,
it becomes a bit hard trying to fight like that uphill battle, like mind game thing kind of there. And then I feel like that just kind of DJ's damage on top of it. Every little hit he gets, it adds up a lot. And then Cammy ends up having to make comebacks a lot of the time against him, and it's very hard to come back against a character like DJ with Cammy.
Yeah, another thing too is because because Cammy doesn't have like a good drive rush, like trying to drive rush is kind of like to add pressure
Mm,
against a charged character. Up kicks or EX up kicks is just so good to just like you see green and because it's not as
yeah.
fast or like scary, you just let it rip, right? So like she don't have any ways to kind of like fake the drive rush outside of just throw, and like your hurt box still extends
Yeah,
there,
with the
so.
throw, yeah.
Yeah, so that's just it could be really really rough, right? Especially now that he's like down back, and so you're trying to look for a whiff punish, but you can't whiff punish him. You jump, he does up kicks, and he's one of the characters too. He press a random button, he can anti-air the dive kick,
Yeah.
just a lot of various things, and like obviously his damage output is so high that it's like, oh my god, like if I take a risk, I could lose the game, you know.
Yeah, I feel
So
like those things it makes it very hard against DJ. But again, I think the matchup is still very possible, even with all of those things. I think that it's still not too bad, honestly.
having a slight disadvantage is better than having a completely just abusement part across the screen. So now I want to ask too, how hard is Cammy to learn for like just for getting into Cammy and then playing Cammy at a high level.
Honestly, I think Cammy like getting into the character is not too hard in my opinion. It's a very simple, straightforward character, and every Street Fighter game I feel like she's pretty simple. Always like her core game plan. As a new player, you naturally probably jump a lot anyway, and since that's a good part of her core game plan, I feel like that's a good plus for newer players. The fact that she's jumping is already a good thing with her. So that already lets a newer player be good with her fast. And then I feel like she always has pretty simple, straightforward combos that she only really has one route usually in a fighting game. So you just kind of learn the one route, and then that's pretty much the only combo you really do with her a lot of times, except very specific situations. So
Yeah.
I feel like those are like core things that just help her be very easy for newer players to learn. But I think competitively, like as a high level, she's very hard to play at a high level because she relies on reacting to a lot of things. That's like I feel like her strong suit is that she actually has some of the best buttons to react to a lot of stuff in the game.
That's
So
huge.
you actually have to play her in a very reactionary way, which can be very hard to just wait. Try to wait for people to make mistakes all the time and then
Right.
reacting to actually punish it when they do happen to make that mistake. And I feel like a lot of people don't really want to play that way a lot of times. So it can be a bit harder to have that kind of play style. But I feel like when you do knock someone down with Cammy and get her offense started, it's very easy because she has, I feel like, one of the best plus buttons in the game with her crouch and heavy punch. So
Yeah.
the fact that she has such a good plus button and it drains a lot of drive gauge on block, it makes people a lot more afraid faster. So I feel like it can get you a lot more wins easier with Cammy when you actually learn how to work her offense.
Because Cammy is so straightforward that it's like people just like they don't have to know how to fight Cammy, but they just know how to fight Cammy.
Yeah, I feel like that her matchup is honestly the same in every Street Fighter game. If you know how to fight her in one game, it's kind of like Ryu, where you probably just going to know how to fight her in every game. The matchup doesn't really change much for characters. It's the same thing. You got to look out for the dive kick. Her buttons usually stay the same, like her crouching medium punches, her crouching medium kick, stand heavy kick, stand medium kick. Her core button, they usually kind of stay the same, crouching heavy punch. So all of those things are already, are engraved in your brain to try to whiff punish those kind of buttons. So you're already looking for those things. So I feel like the character herself, the matchup doesn't really change in Street Fighter games. You just gotta
Yeah.
get used to fighting her again in a newer game if she might looks a little different or something.
If you had to give like one tip to like up and coming Cammy players, what would be that first tip?
I would tell people to learn how to space your dive kicks because that's going to be very important for you continuing your pressure, and learn how to anti-air with Cammy. It's going to be an important thing. Trust me. You need that.
Nah. Yeah, you need that. I need that. Would you say Cammy is good? Would you say Cammy is top tier? What is your overall thoughts for Cammy?
Yeah, for sure, it's top tier in my opinion. I would say she's somewhere around top 8. Wherever you want to put her is where you decide to put her, in my opinion. But I would say that she's a very good character. Doesn't really have many weaknesses. Just about 2 bad matchups, really. So that's a very strong thing. And the matchups aren't. I feel like they aren't unwinnable. So those are very good to have if you only got 2 bad matchups that aren't completely unwinnable or like feels like complete trash. I feel like the character is going to be a good character.
You know, once again, bro, I'm sure the people who are watching right here, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, PunkDaGod, I needed to hear this. Only 2 bad matchups, I can do this." You know what I mean? So, anyways, man, thank you so much for coming here, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Where can they find you?
Find me at PunkDaGod, of course. DA, not THE, on all social platforms, YouTube, Twitch, wherever. Same name on everything.
And with that being said, man, thanks again, once again, bro. And people in the comment section below, please let us know. Are you guys enjoying this? Please let me know in the comment section below. And make sure you guys follow PunkDaGod on all his socials. Subscribe to his YouTube as well. And we'll be seeing you guys on the next episode.
Bye-bye.